Hi, great to be back again. Yeah, sorry I couldn't upload any video last week. There were lots of things. Work. Yeah, anyway, just want to tell you today we're talking about the steps I used while in my transition, and basically the very first step, or more like the first two steps. Yeah, the first two steps. So in 2020 rather, I started doing my residency training at FMC Asaba. Then I was doing internal medicine resident. It was a very beautiful experience. I had the opportunity of learning from top doctors, working with senior consultants, and with also amazing house officers as well. I was blessed to have been with very lovely nurses and other health staff in the hospital, and that sort of exposed me to medicine in a more advanced way, and I'm very grateful for that experience. However, I realized that there is more that I can do while practicing. Not just attending to patients. Like using the latest and the best equipment to treat people. I think is very essential, and not lacking some basic things. And because of that, I sort of decided that I have to make this transition. I need to have this change in my life, and I started looking for alternative places to practice medicine. And that's what I advise every one of you. This is like the fundamental part if you're trying to transit out of Nigeria to a different country. You need to first make up your mind that okay, this is where I want to go, and also you need to have like do some research. Doing research is really key, and not just the research on where you want to go, on where you want to go, how you want to go there. Find, if possible, try to identify those who have gone through that journey with you, journey before rather, and those who are currently going on that journey with you as well, and the cost of this journey you're about to take. It's best to go into these kind of things when you're well prepared, when you're well versed for it, because going in blindly, it's not gonna pay. Trust me, it's not gonna pay. There could be lots of crying and lots of tears along the way. So, I advise anyone who desires to, switch jobs, even switching jobs, or leaving the country or leaving a country in general to start a new life somewhere. You need to make all these studies. All right. So before I started, I considered several countries. I thought about you know UK. I considered US. I considered Canada, the UAE, as well as Australia. I had to go through their medical councils to see what they require to practice in all those areas to know which one I can do. Okay, because first of all, I'm working as a resident in internal medicine, so that alone is really, really hectic. Okay, you can't just mix that with anything. You have to be very careful, right? So you're gonna give your patients the best care, and you're gonna give yourself your best care as well. And so I looked into US, and for US I need to write USMLE step one and step two. That's step one and step two CK specifically. And what drew me away from it is because of one, the cost of the examinations and the intensity of the preparation. I knew that combining that with residency was going to be quite difficult for me. So I had to hold off on that, and I just tossed down to the side. The second thing I considered was going to the UAE, or rather to the Middle East. And for that, there's like a sort of certain financial requirements which one needs to have, and also one I from what I know, there's really no pathway to specialization if I'm to go to the UAE. So because of that reason, I sort of tossed that one aside as well. Then for Australia, which was quite good, I needed to write the IELTS examination, the AMCMCQ, and also the either work-based assessment or write the practical, like the OSCE in Australia. Now I could have done the IELTS, written the MCQ probably in an African country like South Africa or Egypt. So you can see that I'm really talking about writing the IELTS and traveling to a different country for the AMCMCQ. Then to write the OSCE, I have to travel down to Australia. Putting all this together, I realized that I am not financially buoyant for this. So I tossed it aside, like, nope, I ain't gonna do this. Then last thing I thought about was UK. Now UK, with UK, I needed IELTS one. The second thing I considered was that okay, the UK step, the PLAB one examination can be written in Nigeria is online. And worst case scenario, you can go to Ghana to write it there out of spots. PLAB 2 is written in UK, and looking at the distance and the cost of travel and all that, is something which I believe was quite doable. Yeah. So I put all this into context and went and realized that, you know what, I will go with this route. So the first thing I did was to, like I said, identify the different options which I have. I had to identify the cost of each one. And the next thing I did was to also meet those who were on this same journey. And like I advise anyone, if you're planning on migrating, if you're planning on having a career change, it's always good to seek advice from those who have done that before you and talk to those who are doing it with you. And how did I meet those who have done it before me? I went online, just as you're watching YouTube now. I had to do the same thing. I went on YouTube, how I went to United Kingdom, practicing medicine in UK, and I did some serious browsing and I got information. Also went on the World Wide Web as well, www, and typed, just Google, traveling to UK, practice medicine in UK as an IMG. I did all this research, and by doing it, I was able to have an idea of what it takes. All right, and this is what strengthened me and gave me the confidence that okay, this is actually a path worth pursuing. Furthermore, apart from going to a new environment and the the what we expect to be good about it, career wise there's a pathway to specialization, which is something which I really value. So I looked at all this and I realized that okay, UK is actually going to be an ideal path for me, and that is how I made my decision that okay, you know what, I can write this examination while I'm working. I can Cost of traveling there is quite doable. The cost of the examination is also something I could save for, and there's also a pathway to specialization there. Putting all this together, I went to the United Kingdom. I hope that's going to help somebody. And then maybe the next time I come up again, I'm going to tell you about how I prepared for my IELTS and later my PLAB 1 and PLAB 2. But that is all for today, all right? I want you guys to have a great weekend and have a great week ahead, okay? God bless. Bye-bye.